Hey, what is up guys? Welcome to the RIP Yu-Gi-Oh! Online Games Part 2, but also it's technically a response video to Captial G's, because he basically made a response video to me. This is my rebuttal response. A lot of you guys have sent me this video, and it's a good video. I'll give him mad props to that. Look, I even gave him a thumbs up for that. He does make some valid points, but I'm here to discuss them with you guys, and I appreciate all of the enthusiasm you guys have for this game. I really do. It's really great. But there are a lot of things that we need to talk about and address in the game, and we're going to talk about the state of the game and the future and the longevity of this game. Because, like I said, and I mentioned it several times before, a lot of you guys are like, wow, you're just talking so negative about Yu-Gi-Oh! The point of me talking negative about the Yu-Gi-Oh! Is to address the situation so some of you guys can be aware of what's going on in the game and potentially, can influence it by, looking at my videos. And if Konami looks at the thumbs up on my videos, they can see that players really want this. I mean, heck, my RIP Yu-Gi-Oh! Video got 100K in so fast, and I was really surprised by that. So a lot of you guys do care about this game, and obviously you guys were sharing that around, and hopefully I'll be able to talk to someone later this week, and I'll definitely give you guys the info on that. So anyways, let's go ahead and first address some of the things that are a concern, because I can take constructive criticism, or just criticism that is even negative. A lot of you guys said that you don't enjoy my content as much as my older videos, like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Vines and the funny stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh! Pictures. I'll 100% say that I can do those for you guys, and I just kind of forgot about those series. I've been just kind of focusing on just other types of content, because the way I see it is Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just not going in a direction that I think is going to be successful going into the future. And like I said, I'll address a lot of the stuff that you guys have been concerned. You're like, wow, he's just talking trash to talk trash because he doesn't enjoy the game. And I'm not enjoying the game for a lot of reasons, on top of the game itself not doing well, which obviously it has a lot of internal problems, and a lot of you guys have mentioned that. And like I said, I'm going to bring up your guys' points, even if they are negative. But I will 100% say that it's probably true that I haven't been doing as much community, fun stuff with you guys as much as I used to do. I used to do, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Vines all the time, and then on top of that, we used to do the low-rated duelist. Low-rated duelist, it's a series that I can't continue because Dueling Network is down. If any of you guys want to send me in clips, so you can send them into azneyesreplays@gmail.com. I'll have the email address down below. If you guys have footage that you guys want me to commentate on, I can bring that back for you guys. But obviously Dueling Network is down, so that's something that can't really be done as far as me going on Dueling Network, because it doesn't exist. So a lot of you guys asked, why do you still upload or play Yu-Gi-Oh! If the game is dead? If it's RIP Yu-Gi-Oh! Why are you going to continue uploading Yu-Gi-Oh! Content? The thing is I'm waiting on that game to come out on August 18th. Well, the game to come out to be revealed. They're revealing it on August 18th. It's a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Game, but I don't have very much faith in it. This is not it, by the way. This is a video called Duel Arena. I spoke with Jason, which is a guy that actually worked on this game, and he was telling me, this is the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. It's going to be so great, and if you guys see the game, there's a lot of problems with this game, and the guy was so committed to this game. If you guys could, I wish I could have recorded the conversation I had with this guy when I actually met him. And this is a very, very terrible game. This is one of those super pay-to-win games. There are a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Games that have came out, and all of them have flopped really in the competitive aspect of the game. This is what you can. I even put a review. I put tip entry for this. duelinghour.com. Don't play this game. That was my tip over there. But seriously, this game, Duel Arena, was absolutely terrible, and I feel the next Yu-Gi-Oh! Game, it will kind of be like this. That's why I've been uploading content that is not Yu-Gi-Oh! The reason why is because if it flops, I want to have an alternative to the channel, because I want to enjoy my time spending it with you guys, just looking at dank memes. I like doing that kind of stuff. So I like the interaction that I have with you guys. Every day I enjoy making these videos, and if Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not the content that I can create because the game isn't going to be supported, then obviously I'm gonna have to switch it up. And I appreciate some of you guys that like the videos. If you guys don't like the content, that's cool too, dude. I totally understand. I used to follow a few people that play Diablo 3, and that game's just dead now. And I still follow them on their channel. I still support what they do, but I just don't follow them for the games that they're playing now. But I'm hoping in the future maybe they'll return to it. If there's new expansion pack, or if Yu-Gi-Oh! Comes up with a new game later on. If I stop uploading Yu-Gi-Oh! Content in the future, when they release a really good game, they actually release a game that has all the cards, it's free, that's accessible to everyone, that's available all across the world, and on top of that, it's a good game that doesn't have a stamina bar that says you have to pay real money to duel more than 5 times per day. That's this game. And I feel the next Yu-Gi-Oh! Game just might be like this. That's just how I see it. And it really sucks because what's funny is I talked to the guy that worked on this game. He said, no, this is a really great system. Yeah, stamina. Who likes stamina? Who thought, I only want to duel 5 times per day. Or, you can pay real money and then you can get more stamina. This was supposed to be a really big game and it completely dropped. And it sucked, completely. There was, really terrible, it was so pay to win. And I feel bad for the people that spend money on this game because a lot of these Yu-Gi-Oh games, guys, when they come out, they're like, oh, we're just going to release another one next year. Just, throw it on there, charge them for packs, and then next year we'll come out with a new game. And, these games aren't even, updated correctly. The ban lists are always wrong, and then, they don't have the newest sets. And then, again, like I said, it has the stamina system, which is, the worst system ever. You can only duel 5 times per day, or if you, you wait for a certain amount of time. If people want to play your game, let them play the game, because that's going to increase, the longevity of the game. It just seems like a lot of people just don't understand, what games are like in 2016. These type of microtransactions games, they work much better off in Asia. In NA, people just say, no, screw this, I'm not going to play this game. That's how it is with, BDO, if you guys play Black Duster Online. You couldn't make a free-to-play game that's pay-to-win in the West and have it be very successful. I know that there might be some, but overall, especially in a game with Yukio, that it's going to maybe attract some new players, it is way too complex for people to be like, I want to jump into this game and spend a ton of money. It's just not really realistic, guys. Because the reason why is because it doesn't cater towards a very large pool of audience. But anyways, that said, like I said, I'm just waiting for the game to drop on August 18th. I really want it to be good. But if it flops, then we're just going to have to create other content like I mentioned before. Now, there's a lot of great points that you guys made, and I have them on a note on the side here. And one excellent question that someone asked is why do you even play Yukio? And I looked at this question myself, and I thought, that's a very, very, very valid point, because I thought about it. The reasons why most people play games, right? The first thing is money, fame. People just enjoy the competitive aspect of a game, which kind of comes down to fame because they want to be known for being really good. Or if you're just a casual player that just likes to kind of kill time. Now, I decided to think about it myself. I'm like, okay, if you were to play this game to make money off of it, this was your job, this was your living, could you go to every YCS, win every single one, and then also sell the cards? It's very unrealistic, looking at playing the game for a standpoint of, this is my living, I want to be the best in the world, and I'm going to be the best player, so I'm going to make a living off of being the best. Can't really do that with Yu-Gi-Oh! The flight pretty much covers some of the cards, and the flight, the hotel, and the deck, and especially since the deck gets rotated out, and then you're losing hundreds of dollars depending on the ban list that you don't even know when it's coming out. It's looking like not the greatest investment, especially if you're looking at it from a money standpoint. Now, as far as enjoying the competitive scene, some people do enjoy that. They just want to be really competitive, and it kind of comes down to fame as well. There's so many players that have legit raged. I'm sure some of you guys have seen the video where the guy slams the table because he loses the game to something really dumb. And this happens in Yu-Gi-Oh! Any card game kind of has this aspect, though. Even Hearthstone, you get sacked. That's the term that we use. So, you lose to something that you really shouldn't have lost to. A coin flip. I take one card out of your hand, I hit the right card, or I blind MST, hit the right card. That kind of stuff happens. There's RNG in card games. So that really does suck, but what even sucks more is the people who cheat and win, which I've actually covered. I've actually shown you guys people cheat and they win in the game. And that just happens. And it's not sometimes the player's intentions to this, but it's because we don't have a digital form of this game. And that's why I keep on saying rip online Yu-Gi-Oh games, or online players will leave. Some people are thinking I'm just talking about the TCG. I'm mostly talking about the online section of the game, where people play online. And the online game in the competitive scene doesn't really exist. You can't really go to tournaments with your 3DS realistically and win enough money to be relevant. And I know before they used to do tournaments for the 3DS and stuff like that, or for the DS I believe it was, and they had a dark end, but overall the competitive scene doesn't really exist for the online section. It's all physical card form. But the next section is just casual player that kind of wants to waste their time. I feel like casual players complain a lot in this game more than a lot of other games. The reason why is because you could go to a game like Overwatch, League of Legends, but you have access to, a majority of those heroes at a relatively easy price. It's like what I'm saying, like if this new hero is broken, you know, if you play League of Legends for quite some time, you'll have, you know, the points to buy the hero, or you can spend like the $10-15, and it's not that big of a deal when you compare it to Yu-Gi-Oh, which cards can cost hundreds of dollars, decks can cost almost $1,000. So that can be a problem with the casual scene. Like 99% of people that play this game, and even at the competitive level at YCS, is you hear all the time during deck profiles like, I wish I had a second one of these, but I just didn't have one. All right, you know, I couldn't afford it. You know, you see people that top, and they still like can't run the deck perfectly the way they want to play it. So some of the casual players, they can't afford the cards, and they'll be like, oh, you're just a meta sheep. So in a casual standpoint, there's very small incentives, and all this comes down to not having an online game. Like I just don't understand how come we can't have a Yu-Gi-Oh online game that is something that you just download on your computer and it just gets updated like Hearthstone. And like I said, I'll mention a lot of stuff that you guys have addressed. Some people said that I only want YouTube money, and that's why I'm you know, quitting this game so I can keep on uploading videos and say rip Yu-Gi-Oh, they get a bunch of views. If I wanted YouTube money, which I wouldn't mind more of, I'll totally be honest. Like, yeah, I enjoy having YouTube money. Anyone that does YouTube, if they're like, hey, you can increase your view count or your money, you can do so by doing this step. I'm definitely going to say that. Yes, of course I would want more money. Definitely. Anyone would. But I want to also enjoy what I want to do. Otherwise, you know, if I just wanted YouTube money, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh is definitely not the area for that. If I guess technically, I would just continuously upload Yu-Gi-Oh content in a sense. But, you know, Minecraft, League of Legends, Pokemon, these games do so much better than Yu-Gi-Oh. But I tried League of Legends just to try it out. I didn't like it. I don't have the creativity for Minecraft. And as far as Pokemon goes, the game's kind of interesting, but like there's no animation canceling, you know, in the game. There's a lot of stuff that I'm just messing around with it. It's more of a casual game. Like I'll play it once in a while. Heck, I streamed it the other day, but it was just kind of interesting to kind of mess around with. But it's not a game that like I want to dedicate a bunch of time into, or it's not a subject matter that I want to dedicate a bunch of time to. So like I want to do something that I also enjoy, but at the end of the day, this is what you guys want me to talk about, and so I'm going to deliver that for you guys. But in addition to that, yeah, like I said, I want to enjoy the stuff that I'm doing. Otherwise, yeah, like I said, if I was just only after the YouTube money, I'd be doing Minecraft, League of Legends, Pokemon. I would be doing that kind of content anyways. So another thing that one of you guys pointed out that I want to mention is on the official like World Championship, or the Nats, the qualifiers, it has 95K views, and it's 12 hours long, okay? So some of you guys that don't know this, most people don't sit there at the computer for 12 hours to watch a tournament. I mean, there might be a few, but majority of people, like the official Yu-Gi-Oh channel, I don't know, this one has like, I think it has like 38K. Most people don't sit down for 12 hours and watch one video straight. They're going to come back to it, and that's why it has 95K views. A lot of you guys were like, but look at the Yu-Gi-Oh video, it has almost 100,000 views. The thing is first off, again, 12 hours is way too long. There might be like one person that maybe sat down for 12 hours, watched it start to finish. The majority of people bookmarked it, saved it, favorited it, watched it halfway, and they watched it the rest later. And when you go back into these YouTube videos, it gives them more views. So that's why it's so inflated. And like I said, that was a really good example that Captial G posted, but I'm not here to debunk him. But honestly, guys, I think it's very reasonable to say that 95K views, it's not really realistic from just... You know, you think that there's 95,000 people that watched it? Not even close. Multiple people came back, you know, multiple times to finish off the series. But yeah, that's my rebuttal to that. But as far as like the game, a lot of you guys have been talking about like locals are down, and obviously in the online scene, there's a lot less players. There might be more players on DevPro, but the thing is, some people are like, YGO Pro doesn't work for me after, you know, they shut it down. I can't get this update, or there's an error. A lot of you guys have been messaging me like, how do I get this game to work? I don't know what your problem is with YGO Pro or DevPro. It could have been whatever, I don't know, update that you happen to have. It didn't work out. So like that could have caused some error. I'm not a person that actually worked on the game, so I can't tell you exactly what's wrong with your game. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot less people playing online, even though technically there's more people that are playing on DevPro now. It's because other things are shut down, and like I said, some people just left the game. I used to get messages all the time in my inbox on my Facebook, and it'd be mothers like, you know, hey, you know, can I had people ask me, where do you buy cards and stuff like that. They were like parents, and they wanted to know where they can buy cards for their kid. They're like, oh, my son watches your videos all the time. I'm like, I hope you don't watch some of the more questionable content, but Like, it's like mom's asking me, like, you know, how can I teach my son to play this game? And I used to send them this link to go on the video, but at this point, I really can't recommend that. And I used to just, like, I used to recommend, there was a Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, online, like, tutorials, like a flash thing. But the thing is like, there's so many new mechanics that just doesn't teach you. So I said to download DevPro and just kind of play against the computer. Like, that's like the best example. I would also link them the other thing, but again, it just doesn't have all of the mechanics. So that was one problem that, you know, obviously the game had, is just, it doesn't really, there's no friendly way for you to really learn Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's be honest here. If you're not like a person that's been playing this game for a long time, you're not going to know what's going on. But a lot of you guys also mentioned that attendance rate of the YCS was huge, okay? You guys have to understand that that's not what gives them majority of their money. The majority of the money is from casual players, not the competitive scene. Like, if you look at, like, I'm just using League of Legends as an example again. There's very few people in League of Legends that are in the Challenger League, you know, that are at the top, you know, YCS, like, you know, level, where they're consistently, you know, playing, like, the most meta decks and stuff like that. Majority of the money from League of Legends and other games comes from the casual. That's where more than 90% of the money comes. It does not come from the game or the people that have been playing since the game came out. You think the people that have been playing since the game came out spend money on League of Legends? Maybe here or there they'll buy like one skin for their new hero, but overall 90% of the money is coming from the people that are just jumping into the game. It's not from people that have been playing the game for a long time. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Is such a 1% game, like, as in, like, I'm talking about, like, overall, like, in the world, like, how many people play Pokemon? You know, there's way more people. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is such an elitist game in the sense where there's not that many people that play it, that also, you know, come back into the game in a sense where a new player can come back into the game that hasn't been playing for like 5 years. Like, it's just too confusing, and it costs too much money, and there's just not that many people playing. So even though that you can look at some stats from larger scale tournaments, again, keep in mind that majority of money that goes into these games, it comes from the casual section of the game. And it's that 1% of players that are coming back and back. So, like, the people that play this game have been playing for a long time that are attending these things. It's not players that are, oh, hey, you know, I'm going to go to Nats. Like, you have to have an invite for that. So, again, it doesn't cater towards newer players in the game. And that's the main concern. But there's also a lot of stuff that I also want to talk about. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is totally a game for the 1%. And I don't mean that in a sense where, like, you know, it's just a small group of players, but it's a small group of players that also have to have money, because every format, you know, decks cost several, you know, $100 sometimes, and they just get banned, and then there's more broken cards that come out with better effects, but the you know, the deck that was really good, not only is it not as good because the power creep in this game is so strong, but in addition to that, you also have the new decks that are even better. So, like, the old stuff gets hit, so it's not as good, but the new stuff would already beat the other stuff. It ensures you have to spend money on the game, and again, it comes down to only like the 1% can play, because, you know, it's very expensive. Majority of people can't play the deck that they want to play because it's too expensive. And if we lose DevPro and YGO Pro, well, we kind of already lost YGO Pro. I know you can still technically play it, but for the most part, a lot of people had errors. I got my inbox flooded. They're like, you know, after YGO Pro went down, I'm having this error, like I mentioned before, and I just don't know your errors. I apologize for that. If I figure out a solution, I'll definitely post you guys, you know, a response video to, like, how to fix some of the errors. But if there's no YGO Pro or DevPro, what will we stream? Like, as a content creator, like, what are we going to stream? Like, we could stream Tag Force? I mean, I stream Tag Force. I played a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Games, in fact. We're playing some, like, PlayStation 1, but, like, I've streamed most of those games already. But, like, if DevPro and YGO Pro go down, like, I know, like I said, YGO Pro's kind of down already, but, like, if those go down, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to be super, super irrelevant as far as streaming. Like, it's not viable at all, let's be honest here. But in addition to that, I want to look at some of your guys' comments, and a lot of you guys were like, look at this comment. So these are the comments that are from Captial G's, okay, hold on, there's something funny, I was just cheeky I want to share with you guys after, but there's really, really good extensive, like, step 1, step 2 things that I want to talk about, and I think that these are great comments, so let's go ahead and actually, like, read this comment. I mean, you guys should be able to see it. If you can't see it, I'm just going to read it out loud, because it's super, super, super relevant to exactly the stuff I'm talking about. And this is on Captial G's video. A lot of you guys even point out things that maybe go against some of the stuff I say, but again, I'm here to rebuttal on that and actually explain why, you know, the things that they said the way that they are. But anyways, this guy, Nathan over here says, we can compare Yu-Gi-Oh! To League of Legends and CSGO because that is what is getting people's attention. 4,000 viewers for a tournament is barely existent. Hearthstone right now, a free-to-play game, has more viewership right now than Konami has had in its entire 20 years of being around. That's huge! And this is Magic the Gathering has 40 million views on Twitch channel because they do a lot of coverage for a while. Yu-Gi-Oh's official Twitch channel has substantially less than either of those. Digitally, there is no growth in Yu-Gi-Oh because we had Dueling Network and DevPro for so long, exclusively free-to-play, not-for-profit experiences, but they offered terrible new player experience and tailored for people that playtest competitively, then get people into the game. And Konami got nothing from them because they ran outside of the company. Very, very valid points here that he's pointing out. And then it says, the Pokemon Go is not a direct comparison of what we need. It's an example of something this game needs accessible to everyone. And that's what I pointed out. When I said that we needed a Yu-Gi-Oh! Go game, I didn't mean it like where we catch the monsters. I meant it as an accessible game that's easy to play for everyone and that's free. Like I said, I know it's gonna have microtransactions. August 18th, we'll find out, guys. This is Hearthstone is another gaming system that basically saved World of Warcraft because it's accessible and delivers a great new player experience. That is the problem with Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not a great new player experience. Like I mentioned before, when mothers used to hit me up, I haven't had a message from a mother or like parent in over a year saying, hey, can you show me how to play Yu-Gi-Oh? It was years ago, and like I said, it used to be sent to me, once in a while. Like I'd say like once or twice a month I'd get it, but it just shows you guys that like parents they're just like, it's too complicated. I have to take you to locals because the online games don't work. You can't figure out DevPro. I don't want you downloading things on my computer. Like before, maybe they had Dueling Network. They just need a tablet game or like an online game. Like I said, for the phone. That's what we need in the game. And it says Yu-Gi-Oh! Continuously delivers flop of video games that don't get support for the ban list and recently delivered speed duels. At the end of the message for Slaydra is that he hopes that the game does well. A lot of YouTubers videos are duels and deck profiles. Even you are playing digitally on your stream, so it would be great for the community to have accessible new player experience where you can continue your hobby and lifestyle while making content for a game you love. For you and your channel, you do well because you are for the competitive crowd. I feel Slaydra and the YouTubers that he brought up are the channels targeting new players or people wanting to get into the game. His examples are to show that new players aren't asking him should they play Yu-Gi-Oh! And he's hearing about more people quitting than anything. That's 100% true. A lot of you guys are like, yo, hey dude, I just haven't been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And like, that has been sent to me. Like, there's so many things. If you look on Yu-Gi-Oh! Forums, literally half the posts are about Pokemon Go right now. And like, people are just like, I'm thinking about quitting anyone buy my collection. I've seen that post and it sucks, man. Because like, when they're quitting on like the physical card form, I'm sure that they're not going to be really utilizing the digital form because we don't have an official digital form. That says Yu-Gi-Oh! Has its ups and downs, but you can't say it's doing well right now because of what happened with the digital games and what's going on with the tournament coverage. These rules are intuitive, and the new competitively viable cards require extensive game knowledge to be played correctly. That's why you think it's funny that new players think MST negates. With reprints constantly eroding card text to make a clear game state is product of a bad design. 8,000 life points ain't what it used to be because now competitively viable decks consistently pump out more damage than turn 2 or 3. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is straight busted, broken game system that desperately needs help. Sorry, I gotta drink water. This is a long video. It is fair that you bring it up. It seems like he's more focused on his own YouTube channel, but for the most part, is that the digital game needs to do very well for the state of the game right now. I appreciate the critical eye you bring to the table, and I'm always glad that you open up these kinds of things for discussion with the community. Konami does keep a feel of the pulse of the community. Just keep the message clear that we need a new digital platform for new players and competitive players to continue this game we like to play. And that's honestly a really, really good point that he brings up. Like, it's just that we need to tell Konami this, and if you guys look at the Konami Facebook page, you click on how many comments something has, it'll have like 20 comments. You click on it, only one will show up. Why? Because they censor everything. If you criticize them, they're just like, no, we don't want to hear it. If you ask them questions that they don't want to answer, they not only don't answer it, but they just censor it. They just like, they don't want anyone to think about this. There's been a lot of people that comment, and then like 1 second later, if it's anything that they don't like, they just delete it. Like, we're asking them, hey, you know, can you give us info on the new game? Is it going to be better? If you mention DevPro, Dueling Network at all, they mute it instantly. And we're here to give them constructive criticism and say, you know, hey, is the new game going to be like this, where you can have, you know, access to all the cards? And they're muting it because perhaps they don't want other players to hear about DevPro or YGO Pro, because they don't want them to go download it. The thing is if they just said, you know what, DevPro they're going to be nothing. Wait until you see our new game. That's what I want to hear from a company. That's good PR right there. Is just wait for the next new game. Not just like mute people. They're asking if it's going to be as good, or is it going to have same mechanics. Just give us something. You know, like I said, August 18th. We'll find out, boys. But here's another thing. Like this guy did excellent effort here. Daniel Taylor. Excellent post over here. Let's go ahead and read his post. Like I said, these are the ones that you guys sent me, and I also think that they're pretty good. There are a few that definitely say, like, Slaydra lost his, like, you know, a touch with YouTube. He hasn't been doing stuff. I'll definitely take that as, you know, criticism, and, you know, I'll definitely work on that, guys. If you guys want some of the stuff that you guys felt like it was fun, I apologize for not bringing it to you guys, and I'll definitely do that for you guys. But just check out what Daniel has to say over here. He says, the problem with Yukio is it's not just hitting a rough patch. A rough patch is not going to be such a huge decline. Yes, his stats are misleading. I'm not going to deny that. However, just looking at it, Yukio is at an all-time low in most regards. Let's break down the problems that this game has, and that I have to assume people are wising up to. So, I honestly don't. I wish you could provide more stats on that, Taylor, of why my stats are misleading. Because I mentioned before, like, other card companies, even on Captial G's channel, he had it. A company that he wanted to work with said that Yu-Gi-Oh is down 80%, and that's a company that sells Yu-Gi-Oh. Why would they tell you that if it's a lie? It doesn't help them. They sell Yu-Gi-Oh cards. That's something that he's trying to bring up to, you know, encourage you to maybe look at other card games or just other options that he can, you know, obviously, you know, promote essentially. But I don't know how, like, bringing up the stats of, you know, the decline of Yu-Gi-Oh is there. Like, I just don't know. And like I said, if you want to, like, point this out, Daniel, feel free to, like, comment. I think that you probably watched my video, and yeah, I would love to know, because if we can get hard stat numbers. Some of you guys were like, just ask Konami how much they're selling. Okay, guys, if you go to the company, they're not going to tell you, you know, how the game is doing, especially if it's negative. Like, I've asked them certain questions, and they will disregard them. But you know what? I mean, you guys have seen the things where they just send me more stuff. They're like, I'll ask them a question, and they're just like, here's more Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. Here's free Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Here's, you know, the next set that's coming out. And I'm like, can you answer my question? I think that that's kind of, you know, a reasonable thing to do. But let's go ahead and get finally into Daniel's stuff. But like I said, if you guys know what stats he's talking about that are misleading, please let me know. Because if any of my stats are misleading, I would love to know exactly what's going on with, like, some of the stats that you guys are bringing up. But like I said, like, I can look at the video that has 100K, but it's 12 hours, and I can see, or it was at 95K. But it was over 12 hours, and like I said, people are going to come back to the video. They're not going to sit down for 12 hours. But anyways, first off, he says, the game is broke as hell. Konami's business model since GX, and probably earlier, but I can't say for certain, was break the game harder, force people to buy new cards. The game power creeps so hard. Most synchro decks are totally unviable now. Does anyone remember Karakuri's Junk Doppel Plant Synchro? These were decks that were broke as hell at the time and are totally irrelevant now due to power creep. Banlist serves to reinforce the meta, not to balance the game. With a few exceptions of cards that were broken coming out, Konami didn't predict for the banlist, shuts down anything interesting, and doesn't touch the meta cards while Konami can still make money. I'm going to pause right here, grab water, and I'll explain something. Anything that isn't meta, hat, or anything that's, like, innovative, that's not like an archetype that sells well, like, as far as, like, they gotta sell, like, the new stuff, right? They completely just demolish. Like, I feel like they almost want to ruin creativity in our decks, and a lot of you guys have mentioned this, that, like, another problem is they ruin creativity by saying you have to play archetypes. Like, when's the last time you saw a random deck top? It just doesn't happen. Like, you go back and, like, there's Tellers and Gladiator Beasts, Infernities, you know, like, there's not, like, just, like, this deck, like, you know, a hat. Like, they just kill off that kind of stuff. But anyways, he says, just look at the era of the Dragon Lords / E-Dragons. Everyone knew that they were broke as F, and they were untouched by the ban list for at least a year. Not to mention, when Regeki comes off the ban list, people say it's balanced because both players can have it. Even though broken staples are another problem that people have with the game. Pendulums are straight broken. At least with Contact Fusion and Synchro XYZ, you could see the game being balanced in some context, but that's not what happened. But you could see how it could make the game faster without as much power creep as we ended up with. There's no way to play online. Hell, there probably won't be an acceptable one if we left it up to Konami. And that's, again, the problem that I have with this, is going back to Duel Arena, which is the game that I was talking about. Like, the guy was like, no, this is exactly what we want. We know it's going to be good. The game got removed because no one wanted to play on it. No one wants to pay additional money to duel more than 5 times a day. Like I said, you can wait, and every, I don't know, 15 minutes, like, it like charges up a little bit or something. I don't know how, like, you gotta like wake up the next day, you know, like, it's dumb. Like, they want to play your game, let them play the game. Like, that's, it just boggles my mind, like I said, especially since this, you don't even get the cards for free. You have to pay for the cards, and then you have to pay to duel. That's the model that I feel like the new game might have, and that's, again, one of the main problems that I have with this. But anyways, it says, DevPro, unless it's hosted outside of jurisdiction, I don't see it lasting much longer. The thing is, guys, I really don't know how long it's going to last. Like, a lot of people are like, no, it's going to be there forever, you know. People said Dueling Network, you know, even with the card images gone, it's going to be here forever. It got shut down, dude. And, like, I wish I could tell you guys it's not going to be shut down, but I have no insider info on this. But as far as I can see, if DevPro goes down, and YGO Pro like officially goes down, like we can't even log in anymore, then again, for content creators, you can't stream the game. Like, there's no online game. And like I said, if the new one is like, you know, Legacy of the Duelist, where like the ban list gets updated instantly, or the new cards don't come out for it, like they don't support their games, and that's the biggest problem. They just keep on releasing new ones. Buy the new cards, buy the new in-game cash currencies. Like you, like I mentioned before, the Legacy of the Duelist was basically robbery. To spend $5 on one duel, it's just terrible. But anyways, it says there are better games out there. Magic the Gathering is balanced better. Vanguard is balanced better. Hell, I think Pokemon TCG is probably better at this point. Vanguard in general is just more player friendly. Occasionally they roll a new mechanic like Stride and G Guardians that you can definitely play or be left behind, but it's usually well balanced in cost. Every clan is easy to find in cheap Strides and G Guardians. Legion seems powerful. He's talking about the game, okay. And then all the clans in the game are viable, meaning players can choose what they want to play. You want to play Crystal Beast? It's just not realistic to play at all. Like, let's be real here. Let me scroll down a little bit. And then he says, I know people in Yu-Gi-Oh! Who pick one deck, stick to it until they can't play it any longer, and either update, sell the deck, and buy a new one, or they quit. In Vanguard, people run many different decks at the same time, and they don't go relevant at all. All of these factors have been accumulating to give Yu-Gi-Oh! The appearance of near death. Also, you want to talk views, 100k is nothing on YouTube when you compare to the numbers that a company would want to see. 100k viewers, or not viewers like live stream, I'm talking 100k like on a video, and it's not even at 100k, it's at 95. But again, like I mentioned, this is a 12-hour video. There's not 95k people that sat there for 12 hours. We'll give you a great rating for a little while, but for a company, it's just chump change. For some of you guys that don't understand average monetization on YouTube, that might be like $100, or it could be lower, less, or a little bit more, but on average that's like $100. So it's not really like super viable in the long terms of things. But anyways, the escapists may only rake in about 300k per video sometimes, more or less. But I think he meant, but they also have multiple people who, oh wait, I'm sorry, I read that, I skipped a line. Let me reread that for you, my apologies guys. But it says 100k is nothing for YouTube when you compare it to numbers that come when see 100k views will give you a great rating for a while. If you get 100k per video, that's actually really good, but this is like once in a while. And on top of that, guys, remember, it's the same people that are going back. But for a company, it's just chump change. Big sites like GameSpot and The Escapist may only rake in 300k per video, sometimes more or less, but also have multiple people working for them and developing content. Where in a week, their videos can get close to cracking 1 million combined together, which is pretty alright considering they also have ad revenue from their own sites as well. I feel like the game is a huge mess and needs a big clean out. We need to decide where the power creep should be and keep it there. Vanguard is proving all the time that you get more flies with honey than vinegar. That is keeping everyone happy rather than throwing my baby out with the bathwater every few months in a desperate attempt to wiring more money out of people. It's why me and my friends left to play Vanguard. That's my reason that I'm glad Yu-Gi-Oh! Is dying. As far as my concern, it's been dead to me for at least a year, and now it's festering as Konami keeps trying to revive with more and more power creep, which isn't what the game needs. So that was like a really good thing, and like I said, some of you guys were like, hey, what do you think of this? I don't know if the guy sent me this. This one, like, there was a few that had like a lot, the other one had a lot of thumbs up, but like, this one I think is very good. He makes a lot of really great points. And like I mentioned before, like sometimes you just have to accept the fact that something is negative. Like I didn't want Diablo 3 to die. Like the game is pretty much dead as far as like people streaming the game. Like some of my favorite streamers came from Diablo 3, and that's why again I don't want to sound negative. Even like all the points that I'm talking about completely sound negative. And I think Captial G, like in your video, like as a response is, I feel like sometimes you just don't understand. Like, do you remember when you said that like my deck was, well, okay, the deck I was playing was pretty bad, but you were like, dude, DevPro, if you guys want to check out the video, I'll link it down below. But like he was like, your deck sucks, and like what happened? Like, you know, he says this one, Mega Captial G, I love both your channels, but dude, let it go. You are right, his deck was trash, which was true. It was Photon HeroroicSworns, and you were playing a meta power creep new deck instead of Flawless. He was playing was it the Satellars when they were like the best, and I was playing Photon HeroroicSworns, and yeah, he got Flawless. And then he was like, yo, play me 1v1 on Dueling Network, and then we did it on Dueling Network. And what's funny is he cheated in this. Like, if you guys want to watch the video on this, I'll link it down below. But let's look at this deck. We got Axe of Despair, pro meta stuff right here. But we 1v1 and he tried to cheat. And I'm trying to say this in a sense where I want the new game to be done where we cannot cheat in it. Because, like I mentioned before, in the physical card game, you know, people cheat all the time. In the like Dueling Network, so many people cheat on this. But what I want to say to Mega Captial G is, I remember you saying that DevPro and YGO Pro was for scrubs, and that, you know, they're never gonna hit YGO Pro and DevPro is gonna be forever. Like, I know that a lot of people have said that, but Captial G, I remember you specifically saying YGO Pro and DevPro is for scrubs. But when something is gone, you need to realize that we're gonna have to swap something. We're gonna have to swap. I mean, if Yu-Gi-Oh dies, let's be honest, we're going to have to all swap content. And like I said, I don't want that to happen, but if the new game comes out on August 18th, or it gets revealed on August 18th, and it is not good, I'm going to have to swap content. Yu-Gi-Oh cannot be streamed if no one's interested in it. You know, like, I mean, there might be like 1 or 2 people, but do you really want to stream with 1 to 2 people? Like, obviously, like, supporting those 1 to 2 people, like, those 1 to 2 people just might be those diehard 1% fans that don't want to let the game go. But I really feel like the next game is going to be another Duel Arena. But I really hope not, and that's what I wanted to say. Now, I hope this gives you guys another insight and rebuttals to everything. If you guys have any more rebuttals, I feel like we shouldn't make another video talking about RIP Yu-Gi-Oh! Part 3. But if it needs to be done, it needs to be done. But like I said, I wanted to rebuttal and give you guys all of that knowledge, you know, the Lamborghini stuff. But yeah, I wanted to drop the knowledge on you guys. Like I said, a lot of you guys use the pretty much in a gist, like all the stuff that was thumbs up as far as like my response to this is, it's literally you can look at the Nats video where it has almost 95k views. Again, guys, that most people watch that maybe like if they're watching it for 4 hours at a time. Okay, let's say they're watching it 4 hours at a time. That's like 30k views. And again, if you're looking at Nats, the amount of people that play Nats is so small. Like, it's probably less than 1% of the Yu-Gi-Oh community that's actually buying a lot of the content. Because, again, the content and the stuff that keeps this game alive is honestly from the casual players. And the problem is we, as casual players, the new people can't get into the game. They really can't. It's too difficult. There's no online platform, and that's what we need. And that's why, on August 18th, that's why I feel like it's literally dead or alive. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Please make the game good, Konami. That's really all I ask for. Don't have a stamina system. Don't charge us for cards. Charge us for skins. Charge us for sleeves. Charge us for little character icons. Charge us for that. But don't charge us to the point where we're going to quit the game. And then, you know, what's next? The game doesn't get support. The ban list isn't updated. Heck, why don't we have a ban list today? I don't know. There's so many problems with the game. And you guys have mentioned them. And like I said, I didn't want to make part 3. But if we have to, man, we'll make it. But anyways, if you guys feel like there's any signs that this game is growing, let me know in the comment section below. And I'm not talking about growing as far as like, oh, in this tournament in Asia, he went up like 2 players. Because in Asia, yeah, like their tournaments are already pretty small. But like I said, I'm talking about the game as a whole. It's not growing, it's shrinking. And that's what I'm trying to bring it to your guys' attention. Sorry this video was really, really long, guys, but it needed to be done. But thanks for watching, guys. I'm signing out.